I know it has been a minute since I've recorded, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendall Perez. I am the creator behind KP Crochet Creations, and I thought today I would show you what I've been working on the last couple of weeks. Sorry again that I haven't recorded in a while. I kind of got some burnout. If you don't know what that is, basically just doing too much at once, and I just got really tired and I just needed to take a break from it all. So that's why you haven't seen any videos from me in a hot minute. And I'll show you what I've been working on and why I've been so quiet. But first, let me show you my new shirt. My lovely crochet student, Sophia, got me this shirt in Spain, and isn't it the cutest thing ever? It says, "How to train your human." She got a matching one too, so I hope she's wearing hers right now as well. But yeah, thank you, Sophia. I love this shirt. It fits perfectly. It's super cute. I already have someone wanting to steal it from me. And going on with the How to Train Your Dragon theme, I found this at Spirit Halloween, and I bought it. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. I was thinking of maybe doing some kind of giveaway with it and filling it with some goodies, like maybe some candy, some plushies. It's not very big, but I think it would be fun to include it in some kind of giveaway, since I know a lot of my followers love How to Train Your Dragon, as do I. So I thought it'd be fun to include. So keep your eyes peeled on my Instagram for that. It'll probably be sometime in October, kind of like a Halloween kind of giveaway. But yeah, isn't it cute? So first, I'm going to show you some pattern tests I've been working on. This is the first one. It's this cute little moth by Crafted for Comfort. My friend Hege, who's in the UK, made the cutest moth pattern, and so I got to test the rosy moth, and look how beautiful those eyes are. These are from Nerdy Girl Crochet's Shine On collection. It's very fun. These are the rose gold ones. I used a 30mm eyes. And I use, of course, Zaddy Crafts yarn, my favorite yarn to use, and I use some faux fur yarn that I found on Amazon. I don't know the name of it, but if I find the link, I'll include it in the description below. But I just love how he turned out. I filled the belly part with weighted pellets, so it kind of sits upright. Kind of a little lopsided, but such cute pattern. It was fairly quick to make, and she has a couple other moth types in the pattern, so I highly recommend buying this pattern. I will link it below so you can grab it if you haven't done so already. She released it not too long ago. And then another pattern test that I created recently was this cute little ghost kitty. This is a pattern by Therapy on My Hook, and I got a test for her again. I did these little no-sew dragons you've seen in my previous videos. This is also from Therapy on My Hook. So she makes the cutest little patterns. This little guy is already live. If you want to purchase the plushie, he is available on my website. Same with this one. I just love how he's so festive. He was a fun one to make. I used Big Twist plush, so he is a little chunkier than some of my other makes, but I wanted him to kind of be like a good little size, so that's why he's like that. And then the last pattern test that I was working on, and probably my favorite I've done in a while, is this Druid kitty. So this is Red Mills Crochet's pattern that is a Patreon exclusive, so you need to be part of our Patreon to get this pattern, and I highly recommend it because it is so cool. It the little cape has a hood that could come up, but I have these horns on it, so it's a little hard for them to go up, but it's just, I just think it's such a cool pattern. I use these eyes from Nerdy Girl Crochet. I don't know which release these came in. I've found them in my inventory of eyes, so I'm not sure when I bought them. But the horns are 3D printed, and I got them from Crafted for Comfort. I want to say it's her partner's side business, which is, I think it's Relic Works. I'll link it below. They're super, super cool. You can get them on Etsy, and I'm hoping to use them in some other makes that I make. This is my first time getting to use them, but I bought them quite a while ago. And so I was really excited to finally get to use them. And I just love how they turned out. I used Big Twist Posh and Baby Bear yarn with a little bit of faux fur that I think was Lion's brand faux fur, and 30mm eyes from Nerdy Girl Crochets. I'm obsessed. I think this is one of the coolest things I've made in a while. I know I sound crazy. I think I say that about everything, but I really love this little kitty. I think I'm going to list this one on my website soon. I just don't know yet. Not that I don't want to sell her. I just kind of, sometimes I like to stare at what I make for a little while, like just kind of enjoy the presence of it. I know that sounds so crazy, but sometimes I just have to see it on my shelf for a little bit for me to then be, okay, I'm ready to get rid of it. You know what I mean? So, again, this is a Patreon exclusive from Red Mills Crochet, so make sure to go join her Patreon so you can get this pattern. It is an amazing pattern. And speaking of, speaking of Relic Works 3D printed horns, I also got, this was a while ago and I made this, but they also 3D print the Knot Cubone skulls and little bones. So I did buy a couple more of those, so I'm hoping to make more of these little guys because I just love how he turned out. This is also Crafted for Comfort's pattern that I made with this. So just a little shout out for you. So then those are the tests I've done. Then I went into creating my next pattern, which is Gus. As you can see, he's sitting here. This was the very first draft of him. I tried to use the body that I used for Eclipse, my Fury pattern, but I wanted the neck to be a wee bit longer than the pattern was before. And I wanted the tail to connect higher. So I kind of had to play around with the body a bit. So again, this was my first draft, and I liked how he turned out in the sense of like the legs and the head. I wasn't too pleased with the tail. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker up here, and it was a little too long in my mind. Still super cute, but just was not exactly what I was going for. Also, these are from Nerdy Girl Crochet's Shine On collection that goes on with these. These are the silver and then the rose gold. And then continuing on with the Shine On collection, this is actually a really good highlight of the Shine On collection. So we have the rose gold, the silver, and the gold. So this was the second version of Gus, the baby dino, my pattern that is now available on my website and Etsy. So you see, I made the tail a little bit shorter, and it still kind of, comes down. His body's a little bit more proportionate, and yeah, I think it turned out a little better. You probably can't see much of a difference to you, but it's a big difference to me as I go from version to version. So I really, 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 really enjoyed making these, and I loved how they turned out. And so as I was working on the pattern, I just thought, what if I tried Littlefoot? I always loved Land Before Time growing up. If you haven't seen those movies, make sure to go check them out. I believe the first one is on Netflix. So if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. But make sure to grab some tissues because you may cry a little bit. So anyways, I decided that I needed to try to make Littlefoot. And so I did. And it's funny, when I first finished this, I looked at my husband and I went, I don't think I love how he turned out. I wasn't really happy with the color changes up here. I should have not done the dark brown all the way on the neck right here. Again, that was just me being hard on myself. And we're laughing because the next day I posted it on social media, on Instagram and TikTok, and it blew up. Everyone loved him. So joke's on me. I'm just being hard on myself. People really, really loved how he turned out. And I didn't really have to mod the pattern too much. It's literally the same exact pattern. I just threw in some color changes. I didn't actually change the pattern itself. So if you want to make your own, I highly recommend it. People kept asking for the mod, and I didn't have it in me to write the mod. These color changes nearly killed me. Not in the literal sense, but just metaphorically speaking, I was beyond stressed out finishing this, and then also not being fully happy with the outcome. I decided to not go forward with the mod. However, one of my friends in the crochet community reached out and said, hey, I'd be interested in creating the mod if you'd be okay with it. And I said, absolutely. Let me know how I can help, because everyone wants this, but I don't have the energy. And so she did. She created a mod. And this is her mod. So instead of doing all these color changes in the dark brown, it's actually a patch that you sew on. And I like the way it looks so much better. It's a lot cleaner, as you can tell, than doing the color changes. I'm also not the best at color changes, let's be real. So that's why it looks a little messier. But I really like how she did it. She also shares how to do all the color changes and when. So I think it turned out really, really good. It's free on her Instagram. It's Nocturne Cat Crochet. So thank you, Cat, for making this mod. I will definitely link it below. So go grab the Gus pattern from me on my website or Etsy and check out Nocturne Cat Crochet's mod, because you're definitely going to want to make one of these. So of course, once I made Littlefoot, I got kind of fixated on the fact of doing the full crew of The Land Before Time. So I went into it as like a challenge for myself of creating all the different characters from The Land Before Time movie. Specifically, the first movie was my goal. And I went into it with no intention of writing patterns or to sell the plushies or anything like that. It was a challenge of my creativity and my crochet skills to see if I could do it. So the first one obviously was Littlefoot. And I think that he turned out pretty good. And we have the mod now, which is amazing. And so I thought, well, okay, so Littlefoot wasn't that bad. So let's try Sarah, who is a Triceratops. And that way I could use the Gus pattern, but then add the little headpiece that I have in my Dudley dino pattern. So you could actually make Sarah using the Gus pattern. And if you have the Dudley pattern, use the headpiece from the Dudley pattern and you'll get this same result. And all I did was add, I just added the one horn on her nose, and then I added some of the spikes on the back. And I think if I were to do it again, I would make her a little bit chubbier because she is kind of chunky in the movie. But I kind of wanted them to all be about the same size. And you'll see they all kind of are the same size. I used Big Twist Posh, and I really enjoyed how these turned out. I was very excited that I was able to do this. And so then folks kept asking for, well, who's next? Who's next? So after I did these two, I decided to try, who was next? I'm sorry, I have them all on the floor over here. I know that sounds really bad, but I'm trying to find. So yeah, the next one was Ducky. And so Ducky, my brain's escaping right now. I don't know exactly what dinosaur she is, but so if you know in the comments, let me know because I will look it up afterwards. But so here's Ducky. She was definitely more of a challenge, because I have not done a dino like this before, at least not my own pattern or anyone else's pattern. So I was excited to try this one out. I completely freehanded her. I used like the same legs as I did for Gus, my pattern. And then I think a similar tail, if not a little bit bigger of a tail, because I wanted her to be able to stand, which is why she was like this. And then after doing Littlefoot and Sarah and being frustrated with all the color changes, I decided that I was not going to do the color changes up her back like how it is in the pictures, because I knew that I was going to give up really quickly. So instead I decided to do like a back piece, and I sewed it on. So that's why it's a little bit cleaner and it pops out a little bit more, but I kind of like that. And the fingers were a whole thing. I didn't think it was going to turn out the way it did, but I'm actually impressed that I was able to pull this one off. I think she's probably my favorite one of the group, and I haven't even showed you all the rest of them, but I'm very proud of her. I used, these eyes are, you know, these actually might be eyes that I made. I don't even know. Oh, and these eyes are from Haunted Pixie LLC. She makes the fun, these are the Fury eyes, but I thought they looked really good on Sarah. And then these are from Hook and Good Crafts, lovely little white eyes. I actually ordered more of these because I really liked these eyes. So anyways, once we had Ducky, I was very happy, and then decided, well, now I need to try Spike. And so Spike was next, but don't laugh. I tried my best, okay? Again, I'm freehanding these, I'm testing my crochet skills, and let's just say it tested me to the limits. So here's Spike. Look, I know he's goofy looking, but he's goofy looking in the pictures as well. So this is how it's gonna be. So I did his back legs a little bit longer so he would kind of tip forward in a way, if that makes sense. I did the same tail as Gus and the same leg concept as Gus, but it's not the Gus pattern. I did a whole different body because I wanted him to be a little bit rounder, a little bit chunkier with this little hump on his back. And then I wanted his head to be more forward. So, and then I did the little sleepy, grumpy eyes because that to me was Spike. I don't know. I don't know if it looks like him or not. To me, I think it gives the essence of Spike. If you've seen the movies, I tried my best. These are some eyes that I've painted myself. They're lovely brown. As you can tell, I'm not as proud of this one. I'm proud I was able to make him, I mean, he goes with the group, if you ask me. I think if you saw the group together, you'd be like, yes, that's Spike. But if you saw him by himself, I'm not sure he is fully recognizable, and that's the only bummer for me. But I think he's still good. I'm still happy with how he turned out. So then a couple weeks go by. Everyone's like, well, where's Petri? Where's Petri? And Petri was definitely a challenge because I've never crocheted anything like him, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to pull it off. I'm going to be really honest. I went into it kind of just guessing the whole time, and I'm going to have to say I love him. He is just, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed with how he turned out. I used eyes from Nerdy Girl Crochet. She custom made some eyes for me because I basically sent her a picture. I said, can you make some white eyes for Petri? Because I don't have any and I want him to stay the same as the others. So I'm really pleased. He's not as clean in the back, so I'm just not going to show you all that part. But I actually think he's really cool. I'm really pleased with how he turns out. He doesn't stand up on his own or anything like that, so I do have to kind of prop him up. But I think he turned out really, really cool. And now I have the whole crew, and it just brings me so much joy. I went into this just wanting to test my skills and just for the joy of creating. A lot of people keep asking me for the patterns, and they keep going, well, why aren't you gonna come out with the patterns? Like, why not? You can make so much money. Yes, yes, yes. I know I can make a lot of money. Yes, I know that people probably want these. However, making crochet patterns is a lot more work than a lot of people realize, especially for me, because I'm kind of a perfectionist, that I like to make my patterns several times before I release them into testing. I like to make at least 3 or 4 of them to make sure they're perfect. And then I also design them myself in Canva. And then I have a tech editor who also spends several days, going over there, and I pay them. So there's just a lot of steps into creating a pattern. And just a reminder that this isn't my full-time job. I do work full-time in the for a tech company. So a lot of my crochet time is limited to the evenings and the weekends. And so if I have busy weekends, then that really cuts down. So it's just not something that I'm wanting to devote my time to, since I have some other ideas of like my actual own designs that aren't licensed characters. So I have ideas for future patterns, especially dinos, that you could potentially use to make some of these dinos, but for the characters themselves, I do not plan on coming out with the patterns. I also don't plan on making them again. This was, again, just a fun series for myself to just put my skills to the test, see if I could do it, and then also just for my own enjoyment. So hopefully y'all can respect that. I know I keep getting a lot of messages about why won't you release the patterns, and that's why. It's just a lot of work, and it would take me months to even come up with the patterns, because a lot of these were free-handed in the sense of I didn't write any of it down, and I just kind of trialed and errored until it turned out to something that I liked. So it's just a ton of work that I'm not, I just don't have the time to devote to it, unfortunately. I think if this was my full-time job, then maybe I could devote that time to it. But right now, it's just not possible. I want to focus on a couple other things first. But yeah, I just wanted to show this off because I'm very, very proud. I almost brings tears to my eyes, because I didn't think that I would be able to pull them off where they actually look like the characters. I was really worried that it was just going to be blobs. I don't know. Like, I just didn't think they would actually turn out the way they did. So I'm very, very pleased. I'm going to put them up here next to my Sonics. And so they'll be behind me in all my future videos. And I'm really excited to be able to see them every day. So hope you like them too. So lastly, I wanted to show off more of Gus. So we have this Gus. This was the one you'll see in the pattern listing photo. I was working with a friend, and she was like, well, what if you made him into a dragon? He'd be so cute as a dragon. And I thought, because everyone was wanting Littlefoot, that maybe if I threw in a dragon mod, then that would maybe blow things over, which was definitely not what happened. A lot of people were like, well, there's already so many dragon patterns. We don't want more dragon patterns, which I'm like, why? Everyone needs more dragon patterns. Well, I didn't listen to the haters, and I made a dragon pattern. So it is a 2-in-1. It's a 2-in-1 pattern. So you get both of these patterns when you buy Gus, the baby dino. It's very similar. The dragon just has a longer tail and some other add-ons like horns and ears and wings and spikes. So just to kind of show the different mods that you can do, there's within the dino pattern, you can do different spikes, and then you can do the embroidered pieces to make it look like scales. And it has a fun tail piece that's kind of floofy. You can use faux fur to make it even floofier. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do with this pattern. As you can tell, like I said earlier, I like to make the pattern several times before it's ever released. So just to kind of show all the different ones that I've made. See, so clearly I have a problem. I have to make it several times. So those are all of those. But I also made, because I was kind of in the character kick after I finished Petri and the Land Before Time folks, I was like, I have to do another character. So I decided to do Spyro. If you don't know Spyro, it's a video game, and he's the cutest little purple, I'm sorry, there's like fluffies all over them. I did not lint roll before recording, so just forgive me. Anyways, so I used my Gus pattern. I didn't mod any of like the body besides adding some color changes on the chest area. And then I did, so in the pattern, this is the tail piece that is available. But I decided to do a custom tail piece for Spyro because he kind of has this like arrow pointy tail piece. And so I wanted to look a little bit more like him. So I made that specifically for him. It's not in the pattern. And then for the horns, I, specifically made those. Those aren't in the pattern. So it is kind of modded slightly, but the actual pattern itself, like the body and the head and whatnot, is not modded. So you could definitely figure out how to make your own Spyro, and I definitely encourage you to figure it out. I then just did the spikes, similar to, I surface crocheted them on similar to how they are in my like Dusk and Eclipse. I think Eclipse pattern has it. I'm not sure. I can't remember now, but like Dusk has the, Nova, the plushie version of Nova has this in there with surface crocheted. So if you're curious on how to do that, it's included in those patterns if you have those by me. So I think that is about everything. I'm trying to look, again, I had like a pile over here of everything I wanted to show y'all. So this is what I've been working on. This is why I've been a little bit more quiet. I've been heads down working on Gus to get Gus as perfect as he could be. I'm really proud of this pattern, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you go out and buy it, or if not, maybe you can, or if you just want the plushie, I have the plushies available on my website, and I'm sure I'll be making more in the future. So to give y'all just a little sneak peek into my next idea, I am going to probably work on a T-Rex pattern, because I know a lot of people have been asking me for Chomper, which is from Land Before Time, and he is a little T-Rex, I believe. Now, I don't know dinos very well, so I feel very embarrassed that I'm making all these patterns and don't know dinosaurs. I want to say he's a T-Rex. He looks like a T-Rex to me, a baby T-Rex or a sharp tooth. I don't know. Forgive me. Don't judge me on that, but I want to make like a little T-Rex pattern, kind of similar to, I know Ducky's not a T-Rex, but like the same kind of concept of the two legs, the little arms. And so I'm hoping that that will be my next pattern. I haven't actually started working on it yet, but I started drawing out the concept. And so that one will be coming soon. I'm very excited for that. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for sticking around to see what I've been working on, and thanks for being patient with me as I have been working on all of this behind the scenes. And I will make sure to record a little bit more in the future, so y'all don't have to wait so long in between videos. But again, thank you for following me on this journey. And if you want to continue to see what I make next, then please hit that subscribe button and like and comment. It helps more than you know, and I appreciate all of y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.